Welcome to the World United. Welcome to the World United. I will just invite Sudhanshu ji if you can start with your video screen, sir.
Yeah.
May I just remind you to record, because I don't think you were recording.
Ma'am, it's already being broadcasted live, so I'll again check with Yugandhar ji as well. But this is anyways being streamed live on our this one.
It's showing that it's not available. That's what some friends were saying.
It's right now also it is showing as live. I will just have to check then, but that is what I'll just check it in the meantime. No problem. So Sudhanshu ji, can you just open your video, sir?
Yeah, can you see me now, please?
Yeah, I can see you, sir. I can see.
Thank you.
Yeah, sir. Very good evening, sir. Welcome to day 3, track 3 of this the GTF. And sir, firstly, while welcoming you, I'll again, follow the same format. I'll be trying to, give a brief introduction of you for all the listeners and viewers, as well as the live stream. And then you can take it forward, I think, with the subject which you have. Yeah. So, Sudhanshu ji, as I understand, you have been founder of the Life Abundance Gurukul and a transformation coach, and with a mechanical engineering degree, and also a very successful corporate ladder. I think you have turned to spiritual and transformation coach as your full time, or as your inclination as of now, and also a Kundalini practitioner, a Ashtanga yoga practitioner, and a certified Reiki master. There are so many accreditations to your name. I'll have to keep reading, and what I would rather put across to everybody is your mission, which you say it is to help 1 million or more people fast track and success in all the abundance areas and of their lives. So I think it's definitely a very credible kind of portfolio which I go through for you. Sir, what I would rather put across to you is if you can just briefly explain the subject for us, which says secrets to design an extraordinary life for ourselves. So that would be professional kind of approach, or that is a life success kind of approach.
Yeah, I'm basically bringing you a wisdom from our ancient scriptures as well as modern scientific knowledge, a blend of both of them.
Okay. So, no, sir, I would just request you to take it further for this workshop. I think let's start. I'll just switch off my video so that it won't toggle, and you can take further then.
Thank you so much, Anandji, for that wonderful introduction. And I welcome all of you divine souls in this great event. My heartfelt gratitude to Dr. Yugandhar and his team for making me a part of this global transformation festival. So today's session is about overcoming our inner voices, our procrastination through our spiritual enlightenment, which will enable us to design an extraordinary life for ourselves. So by the end of this session, you would learn at least 3 things. Firstly, what stops you from living a life of your dreams? Why do you feel so helpless in designing a life that you wish to live? So in this workshop, you will know the root cause of all the problems of your life that are stopping you from living a joyful and an abundant life. And secondly, you will learn what is the most effective path to create more health, more wealth? Yes, sure. Why not? Joy and loving relationships in your life. So this will help you choose what is the right path to rewrite your new destiny. And thirdly, how can your inner purification and your inner healing help you overcome your inner resistances? So you will then learn how to design an extraordinary life for yourself. And my promise to you is that by the end of this session, you will know a clear step-by-step process how to transform your life. I don't need to introduce myself, as Mr. Anand Joshi has wonderfully introduced me already very well. So let me start by the most important secret that let me pay my gratitude to my Guru. Om Shri Guruve Namaha. The most important secret that my Guru told me was that if you want to control your outer world, you must first learn to control your inner world. How many of you believe that it is true? So let us start with our first question. What stops you from living a life of your dreams? Why do you feel so helpless in designing a life that you wish to live? See, we all want to improve in life. We all want to achieve more peace, more happiness, more wealth, loving relationships. But how many of you agree that between our current life and between our goals, between our cherished life, we experience so many resistances and struggles. And these resistances can come because of two reasons. Firstly, they can be your external circumstances, or you feel that the people and the environment around you, you encounter toxic people around you. So you feel that those are the resistances, that those are preventing you. The second is your own inner voices, your inner resistances, our procrastination, our lethargy, our comfort zones, our anxieties, our fears, the fears of failure or the fears of criticism or what will people say. So these are our inner resistances. So if I talk about the external resistances, resistances that we seem they are coming from our external circumstances. Now tell me, how many of you have often felt victims to adverse circumstances? How many of you often find toxic people around you, which create so many hurdles in your life? And most of these circumstances, they seem to be beyond our control. How many of you have experienced this? But remember one thing, all the pains and miseries, whether they come from within us or from our outside circumstances, or maybe the people around us, they are all the results of our own prarabdha karmas alone. Nothing happens beyond our karma. So even though it may seem that external circumstances and people are responsible for not allowing us to move ahead in life, they are basically a reflection of our karma, of our past karma. There is a process mentioned in our scriptures to dissolve our past karmas. There is a process that you can dissolve your past karmas. And that process is to seek divine blessings. If you seek divine blessings, you can dissolve your past karmas. But the condition is, there is one condition. It's not so easy. There is one condition. You can seek divine blessings to dissolve your past karmas, but the condition is that You can receive divine blessings only when you make your hearts pure. Shuddha man, nirmal man, when your hearts are pure. You know, Lord Shri Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Prasade sarva dukkhanam, hanir seyopajayate, prasanna chetuso hayashu buddhi, paryavatishthate. You know, prasad, we all know prasad means, you know, a divine grace. So by divine grace, by prasade, comes the peace in which sarva dukkhanam, all your dukhs, all your pain and sorrow, they all vanish away. And your buddhi or our intellect, no, of such a person, Lord Krishna says, prasanna chetso means someone who has got a tranquil mind, a mind firmly established in the divine, a tranquil mind. He then soon becomes established in God. And for that purpose, and for that person, you know, all the dukh, sarva dukkhanam, they go away. All your past karma, the pains and sorrows are dissolved. You know, Lord Krishna talks about prasade or divine grace, which puts an end to all the sorrows. But again, as I told you, there is a condition. The amount of divine blessing that you can receive is directly proportional to the level of purity of your heart. See, this is the most important condition. And another word Lord Shri Krishna uses is buddhi or intellect. And the third word is prasanna chetso or tranquil mind. So it means, firstly, purifying our intellect or buddhi is the most important task in life. And secondly, keeping a tranquil mind is most important for us to achieve anything, you know, any goal in life. And tranquil mind means something which is free from your toxic emotional turmoils. It can only happen when we start releasing our toxic emotional baggage, which we are carrying through so many lifetimes. How many of you believe this is true? The crux of entire spirituality is to make your heart and mind pure. Shuddha man, nirmal man. So the process of receiving divine blessings to dissolve your past karmas is becoming clear. First, purify your buddhi. Secondly, start releasing your toxic emotional baggage. And thirdly, make the mind tranquil. How many of you agree that, you know, this should become our top most priority, important priority in life now, if you have to get rid of your past karmas? The second thing which stops us from realizing our life goals, stopping our success in life, are these what you call our inner voices, you know, inner negative voices in our head. Some of these are your fear of failure, your depression. Some of you may be anxiety, your fear of criticism, or our inability to control and overpower our comfort zone, our tamoguna. And they stop you from starting any new work. They make you postpone your actions. They make you to procrastinate. आज नहीं, कल से कर लेंगे हम. You know, अरे आज आराम कर लेते हैं. How many times you have heard these voices? यार आज आराम कर लो. कल से करेंगे ना. We'll do it from tomorrow. But let me tell you, these are not the real causes of procrastination. Your fear of failure, your anxiety, your depression, they are a result. They are a result of some deeper causes within you. And these causes, they relate to our subconscious mind. the how our subconscious mind functions. We are not just physical bodies. Now, just to let you know, first let us understand who we are. If we are not just physical bodies, then who we are? How does our mind function? Once we are able to understand that, then we may go to the root cause of maybe all the problems in our life. So if we have to know who we are, kindly allow me to quote the most authentic definition of ourself, of myself, which Lord Shri Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita. He says, Mahabhut ahankaro buddhir avyaktamev cha indriyani dashaikam cha panchachendriye gocharaha. Lord Shri Krishna says, those 24 elements that constitute the field of activities, that means this body, this mind, this soul, this energy around us, which are experiencing this life. So these are 24 elements. And what are they? First is the Panch Mahabhutas, the five gross elements. I think you all know about it. They are earth, water, fire, air, and space. And they constitute our physical body. We call it as our Annamaya Kosh. The second is the Panch Tan Matras. They are our sense objects. They are part of our energy body, or we call it as our Pranamaya Kosh. And then you have 5 working senses and 5 knowledge senses. 5 Karmendriya or 5 Jnanendriya, along with Manas. So 5 Karmendriya, 5 Jnanendriya, or 11th is Manas. So these 11 components, they form our mental and emotional body. We call it as our Manomaya Kosh. And then comes the ego and our intellect, which we know as our Vijnanmaya Kosh, or our intellect body. And the 24th element is Prakriti. It is the primordial form of material energy, which is inherent in Purush, or that one consciousness. And our soul, or the Anandamaya Kosh, is the closest to that Purush and Prakriti. And Sankhya Yoga calls this all-pervading consciousness as Purush, and the energy is Prakriti, which is the energy of creation. We call it as Shiva and Shakti. And some cultures, they call it as Yin and Yang, or the masculine and the feminine aspects of creation. So these are the layers of our consciousness, or our Panchakoshas. Now, let us look at how our mind works. You now know what are we made up of. Once we are clear on that aspect, then we will be able to go to the root of all the problems in our life. So there are 4 components of our mind. First is our intellect, or buddhi. You have also heard about buddhi in that shloka. Lord Shri Krishna talks about the purity of buddhi, purifying our buddhi. So first is our intellect, or buddhi. Second is our ego consciousness, or ahankar. And third is our manas. In English, we understand it as our mind. But in Sanskrit, in Hindi, the term is manas. And fourth component is chit. So all these 4 components, they form what we call as our antakarna. Antakarna. And this antakarna evaluates the sensations which we receive from outside. What is good and bad for us, what is right and wrong for us. So the first component, buddhi, our intellect. Buddhi is the boss of our antakarna. Remember this. Buddhi is the boss. So buddhi controls all the other 3 components of our antakarna. It controls your manas, it controls your chit, and it controls your ego self. Now, till the time buddhi controls all these 3, your life is perfectly happy, blissful, and joyous. And what is Manas? Manas or mind is the controller of your 10 senses. पांच कर्मेंद्रिया और पांच ज्ञानेंद्रिया. And Chit is a storehouse of our psychic impressions or our memories. So all the past memories of all the lifetimes are buried deep into our consciousness. And ego or ahankar creates our feeling of separation, that I am separate from others. So now you can see that till the time buddhi controls your manas, chit, and ahankar, our life is strictly blissful. Our ego and our senses are all under control. But the moment our buddhi becomes clouded, they say buddhi bhrasht ho gayi. That means our power to discriminate between what is right and wrong, what is truth and untruth, when it becomes weak, then the remaining three components of the mind, our ahankara, our chit, and our manas, they all form a gang. They form a trio. If you have seen in a classroom, till the time a teacher is there, everything is perfect. There is pin drop silence, perfect discipline in the class. Every child is studying. So, because the teacher is the controller. The moment teacher goes away from the class, all hell breaks loose in the class. All the children are throwing paper, chalk pieces, everything, at each other, shouting. That is the case in our mind when buddhi becomes brushed. Your ahankara, your chit, and your manas, they form a trio or a gang. They shut down your buddhi. All the problems of your life, all your distractions, all your addictions are caused when our buddhi gets clouded and we surrender to our senses. This trio, we call it as a limbic mind, and this buddhi is our prefrontal cortex, which even modern science has recognized. It is the discriminating mind. So if your prefrontal cortex is weak and your limbic mind overpowers in the battle against the prefrontal cortex, then you will procrastinate. You will become fearful of all criticism. You become fearful of failures. Because fear is the characteristic of your ego self or your ego mind. Your anxiety, your depression, all your life problems, your anger, your hatred, your greed, they are all caused by this trio of chit, ahankar, and manas in absence of a strong intellect or a strong buddhi. So how many of you agree now that if you want to develop yourself both spiritually and materially, purifying the buddhi is the most important task to do in this life. The problem is not that you don't know the problems of your life. You all know the problems of your life. Most of you also know the solutions to those problems. But do you know what is the biggest problem? The biggest problem is your helplessness in implementing that solution yourself. The biggest problem in your life is your helplessness in controlling our ego and sense-oriented mind, in controlling our limbic mind. That is the real problem. Let me quickly show you one more true fact said by Bhagavad Gita. Lord Shri Krishna says, Krodad bhavati sammoha, sammohat smriti vibhrama, smriti branshad buddhi nasho, buddhi nashat pranashyati. Lord Shri Krishna says, so wonderfully explained, your anger leads to clouding of judgment, which results in bewilderment of memory. And when memory is bewildered, your intellect gets destroyed, your buddhi brushed. And when the intellect is destroyed, one is ruined. You are totally ruined. जैसे ही बुद्धि भ्रष्ट, you are ruined. So Lord Shri Krishna here talks about, again, he talks about purifying of your buddhi. See, in every time, the stress is on purifying of your buddhi. That is the most important karma for all of us. If we wish to achieve anything worthwhile in this life. So whether it is Bhagavad Gita or whether it is yoga philosophy, or the crux of spirituality is to ensure that your buddhi or your intellect must not get clouded. It must not get affected under any circumstances. You know, what causes your anger? Your raga, your dvesha, your attachment and aversion. See, you desire something, but when your desire is obstructed, there is an obstruction in your achievement of your desire, you get angry. When your ego self or your ahankar is hurt, somebody calls you by name, somebody abuses you, you will get angry. Who gets fearful? Who gets anxious? Who gets depressed? It's our ego mind. When it is uncontrolled by a strong buddhi. My point here with, great love and respect for all of you is that each one of you has the power to design a life of your dreams, both materially and spiritually. And the blueprint of success is therefore a step-by-step path. And the first is to release your toxic emotional baggages. And there are many processes, many modalities, many tools available, where you can achieve all these things. I'm just outlining a step-by-step path for you. And the second step you take is when you strengthen your buddhi. And thirdly, when you control your ego mind, your sensory mind, when you keep your senses under control, when you start withdrawing inwards. And then, fourthly, you energize all layers of your consciousness. You energize your physical body doing asanas. You energize your energy body by doing pranayama. You energize your mental and emotional body by doing meditations and other things. And with this, when you achieve the purity of heart and the purity of intellect, you open the floodgates of divine blessings over you. Divine blessings are showered upon you. And this will be your new you, which would be 100 times more powerful. And then I can guarantee you that nothing can stop you from achieving the biggest dreams of your life and become a super achiever. This is the blueprint to design your extraordinary life. And with this, I again thank Dr. Yugandhar and all the team members and Anandji for this wonderful event and for bringing about this wave of transformation, worldwide. So with this, I close my session and I'm open for any questions which anybody may have, please. Thank you so much.
Yeah, that was amazing, Sudhanshuji. The way you have explained step by step how the things would change internally first, and then it would reflect the changes externally as well. I think the quote from Bhagavad Gita was just beautiful to show the impact of buddhi getting clouded, and then it will be reflecting in the further intellect and person getting ruined. So that was amazing. Again, when we went through the different types of koshas, I think that was a beautiful explanation of how the things are set up inside. Just one query which I would like to put up across, maybe is that once you like you said, ki there will be different stages of once development, once that the first aspect of buddhi is getting addressed. So I think what would be the ways and means to to address this? One of that, I think, what I can put up across is to attend such kind of satsangas and such kind of intellectual discourses, which triggers a lot of intellectual thought process in every individual, I think. So,
Perfectly
any
said.
further thoughts on that?
I think you have asked the question, you have answered it yourself, Mr. Anand. Wonderful. I'll just add to whatever you said.
Yeah.
Wonderfully said. I think you have nailed it. I'll just add a little bit to it. If you see the way we have been designed and the koshas, and the important thing is that all these koshas, our panch koshas, they are hierarchical. That means the higher the kosha, it controls all the koshas below. Now, this is very important to understand. Your physical body is the last. It is the weakest. Above it, pranamaya kosh, which is stronger, which controls your body. Then your manomaya kosh, which controls all the things below. Then your buddhi, your vigyanmaya kosh, it controls all the things. But if you see beyond vigyanmaya kosh, it is our anandamaya kosh. And as I said, anandamaya kosh
This body.
is the closest to the spiritual divine powers. So whenever we are aligned to divinity, whenever we are in the space of devotion and bhakti and surrender to the divine powers, we are in fact strengthening, we are opening up the floodgates of energy to flow through us, and energize us. And that purifies our buddhi, of course. Yes, that is one of the principles, as you also rightly said.
Yeah, I think on this note, I think I would like to definitely sum up on this. That was a very enlightening again for all of us to understand the way it is structured inside. So I think a further study would further develop our intellect, I think, to
Yes,
ponder further and get into this. That would be
definitely.
a step forward after we get into this.
Yeah.
Sir, on this note, I would like to thank again. And